Let's jump in and see those starting lineups here for both of these teams. Now, it is a battle of East versus West, and let's introduce to you the West. It's the Valley, dude.
Most definitely, we're gonna have Hoon playing in that mid lane, White Chicken in the EXP, Basic running down the gold lane, Mlbb, you know it, in the jungle, and Shark running roam.
Well, let's have a look as Burn X Flash as well. CCat, I'm your ATM, Hessa, Jema, as well as D7. And of X Flash, let's jump right into the drafting phase and get this all started. Are you ready, people here in Jakarta, for the bout? Let's jump right into it.
Well, draft-wise, as we get loaded up here, I gotta say, we've seen pretty much a big trend, right? We even saw, I think it was the previous series, just how prio the carry pick is. So I'm wondering, you know, with Burn X Flash being here, do they want to go ahead and lock that in? Do they go with the idea of that saying, let Hessa carry? Do they kind of go with that gameplay, that game style here? And at the same time, again, you have that one pick to pick up. You have two that you have to give away. And trends, I mean, we didn't get to see both these teams' common picks and bans than what we've seen from previous teams. But I'll tell you what, Carry, Glue, Kaja, banned out here. But even in the jungle, because you want to be able to match up against Mlbb. What we've seen from him lately, too, is the dynamic shift where he can play assassins. He spent a lot of time on utility junglers. So which route do they go here for the Valley?
I think it's interesting, honestly. Sorry to cut you off there, but like if I'm in Burn X Flash's position, if I'm going to attack the Valley, I'm most likely looking towards the two players, right? It's going to be Mlbb, of course, but also Basic, because in the mid lane, we're not expecting to see a lot of that, you know, kill pressure so early on, especially at this tip-top level. We want Hoon to keep moving around the map and not getting any value.
Yeah, but it's something that he's had a little bit of trouble with, I feel like, in the group stage, his movement. And it could be because he's been really, I feel like the team has really been pressuring him to pick up this Eve. And I feel like in his hands, it hasn't been doing all that amazing. He had one good game with it. We know Hoon to be this mechanical player, but it does seem like we have some fun facts coming up on screen.
Absolutely. When you think you can't get enough of the Filipino region, you still see their influence everywhere. Fun fact for Coach Zico, he was a player in M1. I casted his game because he was playing for Onyx PH together with Beloyski, Iacno, Delar, Oh My Venus, and as well as Wise, all of which have broken apart, and some winning world champions, the others getting very close.
He was also a coach for NXP, correct?
Yes.
Right? And then he's been imported over, so a lot of experience under his belt. We were talking about win strategies for the side of the Valley. I think you mentioned Hessa, definitely one of the most important players on the side of Burn X Flash. They like to kind of pocket around him in the mid to late game. They want to make sure that whatever his pick is, that's going to kind of dictate their play style throughout the game.
So that's what, you know, that's what I was wondering. Do they give up the carry? And that's what they did here, right? So there's more value for Burn X Flash in the Eve pick. Another hero who we've constantly seen picked up, has a pretty good win rate, and is just so objectively dominant, right? I mean, that's exactly why you pick her. And at the same time, kind of thinking about it, you saw that Kaja ban come out. That's the bane of Eve, so they do lock it in here. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Valley going to complement this carry pick so far with the Lapu Lapu, another very strong hero put into the XP lane. We've seen it work wonders for many teams.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, White Chicken, it's very much in his playstyle to really jump into that backline and really pose a threat to separate the front and the back, but not to mention that he has a very limited amount of time to make that impact, because Lapu Lapu doesn't scale as hard as someone like Blue, for an example, or the previous boring meta of Esmeralda as well as Uranus, but hey, we've moved on from those dark.
So glad.
We haven't seen her at all.
Yeah,
Esmeralda.
it's
a pleasure.
Man. It's great. I'm with Trex on this one. I'm very happy we don't have to deal with that nonsense no more, but that begs the question, right? Now, with Yve already on the table and Basic already locking into that carry, we're seeing that Burn X Flash is going to be locking in the Harith, who is very good against short-range mages, especially since he can push and harass at the same time. With the help of Ling, you have so many threats as soon as the real world manipulation has been activated.
Yeah, and that Ling is definitely, I mean, the Ling has just been a monster, I feel like, throughout a lot of the knockout stages, and it seems to have always kind of been a bane in Mlbb's existence, just some of those assassin heroes, so they're going to need to find a way to deal with it. But with it being picked so early, there are still a lot of options. The Kufra for Shark, which also gives them some big play potential. Anything to shut that down, really, and it does look like they're going to lock in the Fredrin, so a little bit of taunt, maybe to slow it down in some of these team fights.
Part of me wish that they didn't lock in the Fredrin just yet, because if you would have had that right, you could kind of leave it flex. Is it going in the XP lane? Is it going in the jungle? But because the Lapu Lapu's there, you already have that idea, right? So we kind of, and that's really what we saw throughout the group stage, was those first maybe two picks for both teams were highly flexible. But now, I mean, you've got a pretty good picture of both these teams' first phase, and even the Harith, right? Harith, in a way, we've seen put in the gold lane. It's also, I think it's gone maybe once in the mid lane. And still, one of those picks that works really well in the gold lane, but the matchup, what I'm thinking, is it the Harith versus Carry here that we're probably going to see?
Most definitely. I think it really makes a lot of sense that everybody who's been playing a marksman realizes that they get outscaled really quick by the carry. As soon as she gets 2 items, you feel like, wow, it's so difficult to trade unless you have high burst like Brody or maybe even the Claude. And even then, it still feels situational once the 3rd and 4th items come through. Now that we're seeing that the Benedetta gets banned out for the side of the Valley, I do feel there is a potential. We might see a potential Farsa coming out from Hoon's side. I would absolutely love to see Gushin, of course, but hey, you know, that's just a personal favorite.
I definitely would like the Farsa as well. Anything with damage, because it's something that the side of the Valley has been lacking. They put a lot onto basic shoulders, and everyone else is either more support or front line, and when it comes down to it, they're not able to pack a punch. Now, coming into this last ban, if they do want to go for a Farsa, and since they are focusing in onto the EXP lane, possibly use Zong ban here?
That's a good point. I mean, that could be the biggest giveaway because they do have that first pick in the second phase, and now that Matilda is already gone, they also get rid of Franco. Huh. Rather interesting. I thought they would hold it a little bit longer because Eve, again, real world manipulation, only two abilities in the game really have that effect of taking her out of it, and both need suppression.
Yeah, both have suppression here. So I'm wondering what that leaves open for roam options for Burn X Flash. I mean, we've seen a lot of Cho, but there's always that kind of up in the up, like are the Way of the Dragon placements, are you putting yourself in a bad position? Are you able to utilize it? Now, I think they do have great follow-up already, but still the big question is, are you allowed to get this Harith active quickly? Because in the gold lane, right, I mean, we've seen it shut down as well to the point where all you're doing is you've got your Zaman Force, you move back and forth, but really you don't have the damage that you need. I mean, that is also the benefit of having the Mystery Shop emblem, but still, if you're kind of staved off from farming up early on, you're going to struggle there. So already questions here. We'll see the next 2 picks to lock in this team composition for Burn X Flash. But Lolita, I got to say, man, I like the Lolita pick, but let's be honest, group stages wasn't so pretty for the Valley when they locked in the Lolita.
It depends on where you're coming from. I mean, he did well during M3, so it's like he can't do that bad here at M4.
He did kind of rough in the group stage.
Right,
I'm American. I'm going to call it how I see it. It was a little bit rough.
Timing.
I think I would have liked to show more here, honestly. But it seems like, I mean, you have some of those picks, you have that capabilities, but that is not going to happen. We do have the Lolita. That's what's on the map. And, I mean, hopefully it is a comfort. We know it's a comfort pick for Shark. He just needs to use it to its full capabilities.
Honestly, I feel like they could have unlocked Shark here, right? Because you already have Fredrin. He can look for the engages. He can also peel as well. I would have liked to see something along the lines of Kufra. And honestly, a Mincetar didn't seem that out of the ordinary. But hey, again, out-of-pocket picks. We're seeing the Atlas and as well as Grok. Really smart drafting coming up from Coach Zico here. Putting Hoon in the back position, and now he has to forcibly take control over the lane by himself if Super Strike has to go elsewhere in this Melissa.
Well, I like both. I mean, I gotta say, I do like both drafts here. Again, I think for the Valley, it's really just overlapping those ultimates properly, because that's the struggle we're talking about from the group stages, where it was a similar lineup, but when you were mistiming or actually not overlapping your ultimates in the right way, especially the Noon on Blast, the way you're using that, that's where it kind of falters, right? So, meanwhile, Burn X Flash, like we said, they're very aggressive, and a lot of that aggression is actually calculated, and it works out well for them. So, hopefully, the Valley, with what they have, they're able to kind of withstand that fire from Burn X Flash.
I mean, how long can they actually hold that fire through? I don't know. I'm leaning more towards more traditional Southeast Asian style of gameplay. And Burn X Flash, to me, I feel like they've got a really good draft. Something that Fried Chicken needs to cut the backline as soon as possible. Because if he doesn't, this game is going to swap real quick.
Well, already, as we see we take a look at the emblems and everything else, right? It is going to be Chima, by the way, running this jungle emblem on the Ling. So he's going to he wants to match the Fredrin jungle, right? You want to contest those objectives, get that quick jungle farm going here, and just kind of work around that. Also, I feel like there's been a debate, right? What works best on this side lane Grok, the XP lane Grok? Is it the weapon mastery? Is it the high-end dry? Well, this time, I'm Your ATM is going to run with the weapon mastery, but already the fight for this orange.
Let's see whether you can get out of here. I think for now, wait, hold on.
Hold on, Quide has to use the flicker.
Wow.
Is getting slowed down. The chase from Chima. This could be bad for Quide. Able to get a little bit of shield. Forces the dash. Able to get that getaway, though, and still delay Chima. So almost a plus there.
Now that actually worked out really well. Fried Chicken wasting a lot of Chima's time, allowing Mlbb to, get on towards his next buff and actually evening out the overall EXP and farm. Despite the fact that Lethal Wander might not have been the biggest thing in the world, it's all about that level 4. However, Fried Chicken is going to need some help, and Hoon is here to make that difference.
And I do like it. Hoon wants to come into ATM there. ATM forced to use a flicker. That is a utility gone. If you look at the minimap, though, Chima is making his way downtown right now, trying to see if he can make a play happen, but it doesn't seem like there's going to be too much. Still 20 seconds on the clock until the turtle comes.
Yeah, so both these teams, I mean, early battle spells going down here. Nothing too much, though. Just kind of holding off for now because they both want to just wait for that first big objective to come up here. Now, biggest thing is, I'm Your ATM's not going to have that flicker available, so you're not going to be able to expect that crazy wild charge from him. But still, when you're fighting in that objective, this is the best place for Grok, right? You have walls everywhere around you, and you can see them. They're even positioning this turtle so they have that advantage. And they're going to force the Valley to respond to this and work for it.
Yeah, it does seem like Shark's going to keep D7 at bay right now, but Chima still holds the presence. Mlbb takes the turtle. A nice play. Fried Chicken, though, caught in the midst of I'm Your ATM, trying to get away. Caught in that real manipulation, but he does get away, and D7 goes down. It's a 1-for-0 trade, and the turtle goes to the side of the Valley.
That's what we want to see from the Valley, and especially from Fried Chicken. He is supposed to be the difference maker in this early 2 mid-game to set the Valley up for success. He's stuck here with Hessa.
Oh, Hessa gets stunned, tries to use Mom Force, able to get the dash, but still, the pressure from the Valley right now is felt across the land of Dawn.
I like this too. I mean, just with that early objective take, you taking a look at the items here. I mean, nothing too crazy, right? But still, this early on, this minor gold advantage will scale really well for the Valley. Now, the biggest thing is for Burn X Flash. We've seen this before with Atlas. Do they get those fatal links off? Now, you're working against 2 Purifies here, right? Which we've seen even teams take 3, again, or maybe even 4 in terms of hero usage. But going against that, that's all you have to solve. Avoid that Atlas and kind of spin away. The biggest thing about carry, though, is if an Atlas goes towards you and you kind of use that Purify, you dash away, you shred tanks so quickly, and that can be really bad news here for Burn X Flash. They've got to play around that. Chima also has to be careful here as well. But already trades early on in the jungle, Mlbb not letting go at all.
I love that right now. And this is the aggression that we wanted to see. And I think Hoon picking up this Lilia instead of the Yve or something of that nature, it gave them that mid-wave clear, and it gave them the ability to rotate around quickly.
Yeah, not only just rotating around quickly, the fact that Fried Chicken has bought so much time and now is a level ahead of I'm Your ATM. Look at Mlbb. He's already a level up on Chima, who has the Demon Slayer. Again, you shouldn't expect that to happen, but yes, they were able to get that first turtle, but it shouldn't make that much of a difference. So I think the Valley most likely can start putting resources down onto the bottom side of the map to make sure that Basic get his farm and get his items fast.
Take a look at D7, just waiting patiently.
So worried that D7 was about to come in there, but now with the turtle up, Mlbb is going to start on it. D7, CCat, and Hessa trying to make a play in. D7 does have that ultimate with the Fatal Links.
Oh,
but there's the Numenon Blast. Super Shark coming down, but the Tempest of Blades locks on. This is a bloodbath. Shark very low. Hessa able to find him. Shark falls. Turtle has gone to the side of the valley, though. Mobazane trying to run away from Hessa. Hessa and ATM pick him up. Mobazane falls as a 2-for-1 trade, and the Turtle goes to the valley.
I'm a little confused there. I mean, I don't know if you saw Basic, but it looked like he could have helped out there towards the mid lane, but decided to run up towards the top side. But still, everything that just happened there, it was a great set with the Numenon Blast from Super Shark. And if he can continue to do that, that is going to be the best case scenario for them. So Basic going to be forced back here. And still, across the board, the Valley holding on to that little bit of gold lead. They're continuing to build it on here. They have some of their first items locked in too. I think that one of the big things is you have to allow Basic to get farm up on this carry. He's only got that corrosion sight here. Of course, Mobazane running with a cursed helmet. He's going to be trying to just continue to clear through the jungle as fast as possible. And that's the thing, Hessa already having that first item on this Harith, he's got that mystery shop. If he continues to farm up here, he will be pretty much a big threat towards the Valley, but the concealed play come out.
Concealed play. Shark does get the stun on a D7. Hessa drops the Zaman's Force. Mobazane will get stunned up here. Fatal Links does locks on, brings Mobazane onto the tower. C-Cat with the real manipulation, but Mobazane is still standing. The rest of the Valley decides to back off, so a bit of a misplay there. Not able to succeed, but no one goes down just yet. Basic and Hoon still want to try to force the objective here. Maybe being a bit too aggressive, but they want to make this tower fall. C-Cat just can't get through the Bulwark shield. Finally, the invasion stops and the Valley backs off.
So much value coming in from Burnx Flash. Like, while this dive was happening on towards the Valley, happening on the top side of the map, we look at the bottom side, they're able to actually return the gold in back into their favor. And now with an objective down, it's starting to get a little tough. D7, he's already had a 92T participation rank, second in M4 so far. He's about to make it almost 100%.
Fried Chicken dives in with the bravest warrior, bravest fighter. Wait a second, Super Shark with the flicker. Zane finds the Turtle. Timma, I'm your ATM, forced to try to run away, but the Valley doesn't want to stop the chase. No, wait. Yes, they do, and I think they're going to try to take a tower for themselves.
Well, they got a clean sweep on the Turtles. Objective, that's the name of the game here for the Valley, and they're doing exactly that. They should be able to get another turret here, too. Bottom side. But even Hoon there is just trying to find an angle if he can. Top side, though.
Look at Chicken. Hessa had a little bit of an advantage over Basic, but he can't mess with that Lapu Lapu right now. But still, the game isn't too far apart. It could definitely go any way.
Yeah, and I think right now Burn has a little bit more flexibility when it comes to how they want to play across the map, because the Valley, they want to stick together. They want to make sure that Burn, if they fight, we have the counter engaged ready and we can start peeling. But Burn, with the mobility that they have with Hessa, and more importantly, what Ling gives access to with I'm Your ATM opening up the map and getting that information, the side lanes are always under a lot of threat.
Again, this is the thing, right? I mean, one kind of growth that you've seen from Mobazane is this utility tank type jungle play style, right? I mean, it's something that he learned his time pretty much internationally, and he's doing it well. And these small objective wins obviously build you this little bit of a gold lead that you have, and it transitions for your game, and everybody kind of profits off of that. So that's what we're seeing from the Valley so far. Burnx Flash, all they need to stop that in their tracks, though, is a great set from D7, and like you saw from the earlier statistic, this is the man to do it, right? And they've got great follow-up, too. Hessa, though, Hessa getting to the point, again, he's still working on that third item. He's got the Feather of Heaven here. Also, the other thing that I'm wondering is C-Cat on this Eve, already having the Ice Queen wand, able to pump out a lot of slows and damage alone. What happens when, let's say, a Genius wand is locked in, and then you're reducing all that magic damage, and it's so front-loaded, you can't get out of that death box here for the Valley. Those are big things for Burnx Flash, as now we look to the next objective, the Lord.
Exactly, and again, Burnx Flash, their composition is that flexible, even team fights, with the synergies of heroes that they have. We're looking at D7 and C-Cat to make all that difference there with I'm Your ATM if he has the opportunity to see Basic locked against the wall or even remotely close to it. He could get an incredible knockup that could change the game. And that's the playmaking capabilities that all these heroes provide compared to the Valley, who have a very standard style of gameplay, want to peel back, come at us, we're going to defend from every single attack you have. We don't necessarily have to be aggressive unless you're Fried Chicken.
Most definitely. I think the major problem I'm seeing from the Valley, though, if we want to pick things apart, they haven't turned this gold lead into any major tower objectives. In all technicality, it's not a lot, but they're still losing right now in the ground, in overall overall material. So they need to, if they're going to get these kills, if they're going to find something, they have to turn it into more.
Well, I think a big part of that, again, is what Gideon just mentioned. You know, you really have to, it's almost, you rely on the new on blast setup if you can. Other than that, you're just trying to bait out ultimates from Burn X Flash, whereas Burn X Flash has, what, 3 options? Wild Charge, the real-world manipulation, the fatal links. There's so many options here for them. So even with the lead that the Valley has, they have to be very careful how they go in.
Chicken coming in, speaking of going in, but he gets knocked up. The Wild Charge takes out Fly Chicken, but Hessa picks up the kill. Now, by the Lord, Mlbb is trying to chip away at a D7, getting brought very, very low. Basic finds it. First kill for him. Chima with the Tempest of Blades locks on to Basic, but Zane still takes the Lord. It's a 2-for-1 trade, but the Lord goes to the side of the Valley. Is that a fair trade, though? Hold on, still trying to go. Hessa wants more. They know they lost the Lord, but they want to take some objectives, so they take another tower away from the Valley.
It's looking really good, honestly. And Burn, they understand their options. They really know that if we're going to execute, we might as well full commit. And the only person who can dictate the tempo from the side of the Valley is Fly Chicken. Everybody else is designed to bait out an ultimate or to slowly whittle them down so that they can fully commit to a fight. And Burn fully understand this. So I don't know what Coach Zico did, but he has prepared his team extremely well.
Yeah, and taking a look at the items too. Hold on, they're still going here.
D7, but the problem is they keep on focusing D7. It's just too tanky. They have to find a way to find Chima here or someone in that back line like Hessa.
Well, they're still hunting, right? They've got to deal with this Lord here on the bottom side. Not sure if the Valley wants to do anything. Look at the push, though. Top side from Chima. So able to just make a play regardless of that Lord take from the Valley. They're going to be focusing here finally on the tier 1, though.
Chima takes a lot of damage from Basic, but just not enough. Finally, they take a tower, the Valley, trying to hold up against this, and this just shows that, you know, a 1,000 gold lead doesn't mean anything when you're in this mid-game right now.
Yeah, and more importantly, so I think the Valley understand that they want to get Basic in a position where he can just hard carry the game because the rest of their team members, other than Hood at this point, don't scale as hard. And Mlbb, he is just a stun bot. It's like, yes, come at me, use as many abilities as possible because the real carry is got me my back.
Yeah, you really have to rely here on Basic once again. And earlier, actually hold that thought.
Chima does use the Tempest of Blades to get away, though, so no big action just yet.
Okay, going back to the items here, right? I mean, so this is what it feels like to be in this chair, but still, the glowing wand, I'm telling you, man, the glowing wand is going to be a problem. He's already got 2 wands. I don't know if he's going to go for the 3rd, but still, the fact that CCAT has this, you have the death box, he's also running in pure rage, right? So this works out so well for him. He can whittle down the members of the Valley, and they can work around that. So the Valley, though, you saw them. Mlbb, stun bot, if you will. He has the Radiant armor, too. So he's going to be that front line. You also have Fly Chicken and Super Shark. All he needs to do is land those Numen on blast. And Lord advantage-wise, I mean, look at the Valley. The gold urn, it's not there for them to turret HP, though. They're still working around it, trying to get space around the map for them.
Yeah, I mean, they have more material now at the very least, but now the items are coming in. Hessa getting his Holy Glaive. That in and of itself is nasty, and you have to be extremely careful because if you're looking at the Valley, you're thinking about itemization. Yes, I want to be able to protect myself, but then you have the glowing wand, the genius wand reducing my magic resist even more. This mid lane, I don't think this is going to break out into the fight until we see Basic starting to walk up with the rest of the team. But for now, the Valley needs to show as if they want to aggress, as if they want to take the initiative.
Most definitely, and with the Lord down to about 75% health, Zane will start that initiative. Chima trying to make his way up, but I'm your ATM. He's going to keep watching. Got to keep an eye on D7 here, hiding out in this bush, waiting to make that big play, but Basic and Super Shark as well, holding down the mid bush. This is a standoff. This will end big. This Lord could end up being one of the deciding factors in this game, but here comes the concealed play. D7 trying to come around the back, looking for something, but Fly Chicken does find Hessa. D7 locks on with the fatal links, but he still goes down. 2 members down for Burn X Flash. The Valley take the Lord and 2 members along with him.
Nicely done. The turnaround is already looking so good. D7 couldn't find anything despite catching only one.
And did you see that? Exactly what we said about the Atlas. The downside there is you get there, Basic just dashes away, shreds you down, and you have no option, right? Again, even Super Shark being able to peel on this Lolita is working out great for them. Maybe he just learned from the group stages, comes in with that refined play style, and it's working out great. Hoon, like you said, he's just kind of whittling down Burn X Flash, right? That's all he has to do on this Lilia, and if he can bait out ultimates, even better.
And he's really safe in doing so, because no one can quote-unquote catch him unless you use a big spell to lock him down. The Black Shoe's such a powerful tool for Hoon. He can basically do whatever he wants and feel like he's unstoppable, because no one's going to punish him.
Most definitely. Now the Lord is crashing. Let's see if they can punish.
Wide.
Burn, but look at Chicken into the backside. This could be bad for CCAT, taking a lot of damage away. Chicken finds it, does not go down, but D7 also connects. D7 brought very, very low. Fried Chicken pops the immortality. Gonna come back up onto the field as Hessa, Chima, and ATM try to defend this push. 2 inhibitors down. 1 more to go as Chima tries to clear away this minion so that the Valley just can't do it, but they don't want to stop just yet. D7 working his way out. Valley staying aggressive. Zane moves on to ATM. ATM does go down. Hessa pops to the Zamon's Force, trying to lock on to Hoon. Just cannot find it because the Bulwark Shield is blocking it all. Chima will be next. The Valley now moving on to the base. D7 tries to get the stun, but he's getting shredded by Basic. And now it's nothing but Hessa gets stunned, and the Valley will take game 1.
Beautifully done. GG, well played. Going over to the Valley as they take the first game in this best of 3. And they did it in spectacular fashion. What we thought was, hey, we're going to take our time with this. We see Hoon saying, no, let's speed up the tempo. They're disrespecting us. We're going to take the space and we're going to hold our ground.
You know, it's nice to see them smile once in a while, right? I mean,
He's still not smiling.
He's still not. He's chugging. He's hydrating. That's what he needs to do, right? Again, that was honestly, it was still a pretty intense game between both of them because at one point, Burn X Flash was in a good position to flip that game around. Still a great choice here, but as we get loaded up in the draft here for this second game ahead of us, you make a good point, Gideon. The XP matchup, we've seen how highlighted XP laners can be. I mean, even from yesterday, right, with Takashi and Edward. And that could be something big here because if Fried Chicken we've seen him be a playmaker himself. So I just feel like there's a lot of boxes here for Burn X Flash to check off.
Yeah, so again, really need to hone in on what they want to do. I don't mind if Mlbb Zane is playing the Akais as well as the Fredrins, because again, as soon as the ultimate is down from the Akai, then you can look for those bigger punishes. So now the real question for Burn X Flash, can you have information deniers? Natalia comes up into mind as well. Kadita, having the threat of existing is way more important than actually having to execute a play.
Very true. Something big and bursty, something deadly. And that is definitely something that I think the Valley would have a little trouble playing into. But we have seen some bans come onto the board. The Valley not changing too much up, banning out the Kasha, banning out the Fanny. We also see the Wan and the Glue from the side of the Falcon. So nothing too targeted just yet.
I'm feeling the Valley wants to pick the E first. Right? The Kaja's there. I'm wondering what. Okay, never mind. They want to ban it, right? Because I was gonna say if they don't, then they're looking to prioritize the carry. So now the ball's in Burn X Flash's court. Do you want to actually leave the carry open here? They took out the 1-1 already. They could ban it out, but if they don't, there's a high chance that it does go in the hands of the Valley.
No, that is very, very true. I think, for Burn X Flash, they could purposefully just let the carry through, only to have a potential counterpick later on. But even then, it's still rather risky for the later stages of the game. So personally, for me, I would just get rid of the carry, take that option away, so that people like D7 can actually start playing the game with harder tanks that like to initiate.
Oh, but they decide to ban out the Joy instead. So yes, high pick possibility with the carry here. There she goes. I know that voice anywhere.
I feel like a lot of people at this point know that voice. They're just like, yeah, that's carry locked in. So again, I feel like Gideon, what is off the top of your head? What's a great way to counter into this carry? Now you know that it's going to be shredding things down, and if it comes online, it's really hard to deal with.
personally for me, I'm thinking about people who can push the waves and really threaten her. Valentina is already a good choice. The Lapu Lapu, rather interesting. I would have preferred to see what the support pick was going to be. I feel like Burnex Flash is putting a lot of emphasis on seeing what the enemy is going to do first before locking in their support. But at the end of the day, when you're thinking about the mid lane matchup, yes, Valentina is going to be great, but then you have people like Farsa, for an example, even the Melissa as well. The Lilia is always so value in terms of just hard pushing waves and forcing the Valentina backwards. So then you force it into a 2v2. Then you have to force it to 3v3 if you need Fight Chicken to come on in for these neutral objectives. So how many resources do they have to pack in towards the mid lane for the side of the Valley?
I mean, that's a big question here. In a couple of seconds, we're going to see this. I'm wondering, too, if they do Benedetta into the Lapu Lapu pick. There's the Lolita, picked up again after a massive game. And like you guys mentioned, Farsa was a great choice, too. So, I mean, Farsa alone is already... The damage is obviously there with the Feathered Airstrike. But it is something that you will have to work against because you have Valentina across from you. So now you've got that potential of 2 Feathered Airstrikes going off. But maybe that's also something that they want. They want to either force you to take, is it the Feathered Airstrike? Do you take the Noon on Blast? You know, now you're playing with these options in the midst of the game where what works best for the situation. So that's another kind of process that has to be made here from Burnex Flash that could, again, make you trip over all that process.
There goes the Hayabusa. Before I talk about that, even more to dig into that Farsa a bit, I mean, the Lapu Lapu is like, back in the day, the sworn counter almost to dive in onto that. So not only do you have this possible steal from Valentina, you also have someone that heavily counters you now. D7 picking up this Hayabusa. We've seen good things from Hayabusa, but if Mlbb decides to once again go a bulkier jungle, he's gonna have to do a lot of work around to get to his targets.
I feel like he's gonna play a Kai this game, and it's gonna be so boring. Like, come on, Mlbb, go further. You know, you can work with your team. Give me a Granger to pair up with this Farsa, and you and Hoon are gonna be shooting people down from halfway across the map.
It's dangerous though. That's
It's
like
dangerous. You gotta live on the edge, man. It is the American dream here. You gotta push yourself to the limits to know what greatness truly is.
I feel like people are just, like, when you see a Kai, it's one of those junglers where it's that meme, you know, where the meme is they poking it with a stick and saying, do something, basically. He does. He heavy spins, right? That's something. So Franco's going to be banned out here. Roaming options kind of dwindling a little bit, but there's still a lot available for Burnex Flash to at least complement what they have here. Now, even with the Hayabusa being locked into the jungle, it's something that you always have to be conscious of. I mean, typically we see Hayabusa Ling matchups, but I'm not betting on Mlbb to play the Ling, right? He probably will default to maybe something more utility-based, like you said. Aside from the Akai, we've seen Barrett's come up a lot. That's also why the Martis was banned here, because that is another kind of utility, very hard to catch jungle with the way that his kit works. So I'm wondering, does Burnex Flash use another ban to target the jungle here? It's going to be the Fredrin, so pretty much is.
Yeah, no, I think it's great that they're banning out these particular jungles. The Fredrin, of course, because again, Hayabusa is like, oh, I'm going to try and one-shot you. Oh, I'm taunted and I'm going to get one shot. Not the most fun in the world. Same thing goes for Martis, especially if you can land the Shura's Wrath. As soon as you get stunned, you're in a lot of trouble. And Super Shark on the Lolita is rather frustrating with his charge, so might as well minimize the problems as much as you can. But if we're talking about bans for the Valley against Burnex Flash, what they're missing right now, support options. They got rid of the Franco.
Your team is picking.
Wow, okay. They got rid of the Lunox. They got rid of the Lunox. I haven't seen Lunox in, like, what, how many seasons already? 2, 3? But then again, I'm from Malaysia, so I see it randomly.
I've heard that Hessa has picked up the Lunox Stone Golden, like, in past, not here. I've heard it is, like, a hot pick for him, right?
It's kind of insane.
Yeah. I mean, she's popped up, I feel like, a couple times here, but even more so, regardless, it's something that you don't expect to be banned, because even if it's picked up, you still have a way to work around it, aside from, you know, the burst that she brings. But meanwhile, the next pick for Burnex Flash is the Grok here. And we've seen this work, and it hasn't. But take a look at that heated quote, by the way, from Mlbb.
I'm looking at you, Trex. You got to do it in exactly the way me and Niso are looking at each other. We know exactly how you want you to say it.
Cambodia, Forget about it.
Yes! Yes! Okay, all right. That makes me happy. But now we see the Broad already locked in, as well as the Esmeralda.
She's back.
They heard you talking.
My blood is boiling. My blood is boiling. I need the high pressure blood pills. I can feel it rising up to my head right now. Is this the old meta? What are they looking to do? They have the Grok to cancel out the feathered airstrike, and now you have Esmeralda to take what shield?
I don't know. It does make sense on why they banned the Lunox, right? Like to not bring this tankiness. I'm not saying it had any right mind forward, but there it is.
So you're saying
I don't know.
You're saying they're not right in their mind.
I mean, who is?
Hey man, I mean to be fair, even
America.
if we're thinking about Lunox being the casual counter to the Esmeralda, there's still lane bullies as well. I mean, there's the Dyroth, there's the Dyroth. There's so many things that could be done, but it's going to be the final pick coming in for Burn X Flash. They go for the Claude. I like that very much, and honestly, the Valley probably foresaw that. They're not expecting the Irithel. They want something that goes in and out, and the only marksman that fits that build is Natan as well as the Claude.
You know, so just looking at what Burn X Flash has, it's a very flashy kind of go in, go out composition here. And I feel like that kind of chaotic playstyle, exactly what they're known for. And if it's going to be too much, if it's too much fire to handle, if it's too hot to handle here for the Valley, this could be potentially the 3-game series that we're actually looking for here on the desk. And still, the Valley with having that Esmeralda too, really interested to see if she still fits here in at least M4 in this current meta.
Look, I'm just tired of the Valley saying, all right, Basic, you're gonna create a really big backpack. We're all gonna help you lift it and eventually jump in it towards the end of the game. But it's time. It's gonna be game number 2 here at the lower brackets of M4. The Valley up against Burn X Flash. Game number 2.
Well, this is going to be a crucial game here for both these teams. And I know we're going to see it just kind of unfold, right? Starting in the jungle here. Again, Mlbb opting for this Barrett's pick, going to do pretty much the same game plan he had from previously. So if it's anyone to stop him, D7 actually playing this roam Grok here could work out really well for them to try his best to find picks early on, to find possibly even Mlbb and contest these objectives, because you don't want to give them that clean sweep they had in the previous match.
Well, absolutely not. And, you know, that's when you see Fried Chicken actually taking full advantage of the situation. Yo, Lapu Lapu, you're not going to beat me until level 4. I have to put you as far down into the dirt as possible and let my team take the little wanders and let my team spread their influence through the mid lane.
I think something else that is going to be very important for the Valley is how Hoon rotates in these early stages on that Farza. Can they make some plays happen here? Can they stop Burn X Flash having this Hayabusa be aggressive? Because I think if the Valley can get to the mid or even the late game with at least the stalemate, they can definitely win out in this.
Well, I mean, Shima's level 4 here. Mlbb is as well. First turtle, though, still a little bit away. So poking back and forth, I mean, at this point, you just have both teams kind of waiting, right? Waiting for that objective. Now, still, I would say that given the team lineup for the Valley, the way they're going to fight around objectives is very strong, but still, it's going to be up to Burn X Flash to really kind of get in and get out. And if that just means Shima, you know, quad shadowing in there, getting the retribution off, and if that's the safest thing, it could be best case scenario.
Bonus welcome, tries to lock on, but Tima able to stop it. This could be bad for Mlbb, taking a lot of damage, gets stunned up, and ATM finds the kill for D7. Now, Shark. I mean, Fried Chicken and Shark trying to battle around this. They decide to back off, but first blood does go to the side of Burn.
Wait, what happened there? I thought that Daytona's welcome was gonna eat Shima, but then it didn't. Did he quad shadow out of the way, or did he
went into
him? He went into him. That is smart. That is smart. Lost in the chaos.
Nope, that's what they're known for, right? I mean, Burn X Flash does it really well, and as we were saying, we were kind of painting that picture. That chaos can be overwhelming here, right? The fire can be pretty hot, and just taking a look at the items, things kind of establishing here, almost 3 minutes in the game, they're still going to be able to play. It's a very minuscule gold lead for Burn X Flash, but still, big things that are going to come up here too is exactly this different dynamic with the Grok here, where you're going to be building more of that tank, you know, pretty much that tank roam Grok, not the damage that we're used to seeing.
Come in, Bahoon.
I mean, they're back off. Yeah, they're gonna back off. I mean, they need to take their time. They don't want to get locked.
D7 gets the knock up onto Hoon, and in comes ATM locking onto Super Shark. The airstrike does come down, misses most of them, lands one, does a little bit of damage, but nobody goes down.
Beautiful defense. I mean, Hoon gets out of there with 5 wings, having to use that flicker, and now, I mean, for in the minds of Burnix Flash, they already punished Mlbb. He has to restack himself up to become a nice big dinosaur boy. But Shima, he is making sure he is trying to put pressure on that map. And the only profit that they got were 2 flickers, one from their playmaker, Super Shark, and as well as Hoon. So they're keeping in mind and telling you, I'm your ATM, get ready to jump on Hoon.
Again, I mean, you can find Hoon, you can try your best here for Burnix Flash, but still, you have that mobility kind of advantage. This is very finicky for them, especially with Chima on this Hayabusa. You've got Hessa going in with the BMI. Blazing Duet gets out. So I feel like that's a big challenge for the Valley here specifically. And on top of that, again, the dynamic changes with what ultimate CCAT takes, right? And what he decides to throw at the Valley here. Still, it's a very objective focused game for the Valley, and that's kind of your game plan the whole time, because if you're trying to fight Burnix Flash face to face here, you're gonna get your ankles broken basically at this point. So next turtle comes up here. We'll see if they find the positioning and the space that they need to take this next turtle.
I'm seeing that I'm your ATM is missing his ult. It looks like he may have tried to get into an altercation with Fried Chicken, but it seems like nothing came of it. And the same can be said. Shima, he's lost at least 50% of his HP. I don't think anything's going to be happening here. This is like a very awkward wet noodle fight.
Yeah, CCAT has taken that feathered airstrike though, so we need to keep our eyes open for that. And down it comes, trying to zone Hoon away. Mlbb is close to this turtle right now. Chima also trying to fight it out. The Fried Chicken takes out CCAT. Chima able to take the turtle though. Hessa now trying to move on. Hoon does fall down. Fried Chicken on the run along with Super Shark and Mlbb, but it seems like Burn Flash doesn't want to let this up. Mlbb now coming out with the Kona's welcome. Locks on to D7. Chomp, chomp into the wall and down goes D7. Shark force to use the flicker as the shadow comes in. Chima looks for it, can't find it, but still a fair trade for both teams.
Oh boy, I mean, I would still say that Burnix Flash still came up on top. A lot less battle spells being expanded, and now a big window for Burnix Flash to actually punish Fried Chicken now that he doesn't have his flicker. All he has is the Falling Star Moon to get out of tough situations, which can easily be dealt with Chima's OP Shadow Kill.
I mean, even taking a look at the items, it's still, again, it's pretty even across the board here. Still action.
Oh, Hoon with the feathered airstrike. Chima goes down. D7 does find the knockup onto Hoon, getting that stun to basic. Getting aggressive. ATM will fall. D7 forced to use a flicker, trying to get away, but now the Valley are starting to take control of this game.
Well, and with that, right, the minuscule gold lead that was in favor for Burnix Flash is gone here. And like you said, the backpack has started, right? It's going in the basic here. He's going to be able to grab that bottom turn on the bottom side. And still, they're working. They're putting pressure.
Most definitely D7 trying to keep them away. And one thing is, we were worried about that Esmeralda, but Fried Chicken is coming through.
Yep, he's doing a really good job. And especially, I'm pretty sure he's like maxed out his average by now. At this stage, he's traded so often, and this is the first time we're seeing it. Look at Hoon. He's absolutely just frustrating and pushing Bird back, but this could be the counter attack that we're looking for. D7, keep your eyes on him.
Yeah, Mlbb is very deep, but he doesn't want to let up just yet. Did he take it?
Yep.
He steals the purple buff. Chima takes a lot of damage, can't dash in like that anymore. It's becoming a little too risky.
That was that was a risky decision, but it ended up paying out for them. So this is the thing, right? We're seeing a very synergized the Valley, right? This is something that we didn't see so much of in the group stage. So whatever happened in the past few days, they figured things out, and now they're going to be battling for this turtle here. But still, Burnix Flash has taken 2 of them. Can they get this one here for the Valley?
It's definitely not going to be easy, but Mlbb may be able to do it. Back in the backside, though. Super Shark with the flicker. Lands an on blast. CCAT taken out. I'm your ATM. Tries to land, but connects no one. No. Hoon does get stunned. D7 trying to do something, but Mlbb takes turtle. A nice big hit. ATM goes down. D7 could be next. Fried Chicken doesn't want to let up. He's going to chase. He's bulky. He's tanky. He's under the tower, and down goes D7. Chima up against this orange buff. Back against the wall, Super Shark and Hoon want to try to find him, but he should be able to flicker away safely.
I mean, they might still go on the hunt here. They've got the information. Yeah, Chima, he's going to run out of places to go. Let's see if he can juke them out.
I think he may be able to, but it seems like the Valley keeping it disciplined. They don't want to waste any time. They want to get something out of this.
Well, I mean, White Chicken, he checked the common spot. He knows that there's the Pixel Brush, but it's too late. It was a 50-50 there, and therefore, not worth his time. Back up towards the top lane. And now, looking at Farsa, Hoon, he's got the 2 core items. He just needs a little bit of time to start scaling up. He's already dishing out so much damage.
Yeah, not only that too, but with Basic here now having that Wind of Nature available to him, or he's working on, he has the Corrosion Scythe here. That's going to be trouble, right? Still going to be working on the next core item, but still, you saw the recalls come out here. They're feeling confident. It is 4.2k gold ahead here. But let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet. It's only 9 minutes into the game. Burn X Flash could still make a play here. The question is, where do they make it? That's the thing. And again, CCAT really hasn't been able to utilize this Valentina just yet.
Oh, White Chicken in a bit of trouble. They want to lock onto him. The tower does fall. But right now that Esmeralda is so tanky. Hoon gets found by D7. Mlbb, wait a second, conceal play. Nice stun onto D7. Daytona's welcome. Tries to lock on, but they still find him. Basic finally doing some damage. Numen on Blast. No flicker to connect, so the Numen on Blast doesn't find the stun just yet. Basic and Shard going to chip away at this lane, and I think the action is over.
Well, for now, for the time being, I mean, the fact that CCAT was able to, sorry, not CCAT, but D7 finding Moon, this is a pretty good trade. However, topside is losing, topside tier 2 is already losing so much HP. It's basically free economy for the Valley. So if they want to get into that 5k gold lead and put Burn even further down, they can absolutely do so. And I think the Valley, they don't have to take the Lord now. They just need to keep putting up the pressure and choking out Chima.
Yeah, look at the way Zane is playing right now, just in their face. This is reminiscent to like Wise playing the Barats, jumping in there, even with the Esmeralda, very M3-esque right now.
Well, right now, total control here objectively. They get a turret. D7 going to check that bush, take a couple of hits here, but the fight for this Lord is going to ensue. White Chicken having a massive game so far on this Esmeralda, and they pursue it.
Most definitely, Mlbb. He's got it down to about 30%. Does seem like conceal play is going to come. D7 misses the wild charge. ATM misses the bravest fighter. Only gets a stun onto Super Shard. Chima comes in, but not in vain. Down goes D7. ATM may fall next. Basic on the chase. He finds it. That's a double. Hessa with the blazing duet, forced to BMI out. White Chicken does get found by CCAT, and Chima tries to look for it, so it's a 2-for-1 trade, but the Lord still goes to the Valley.
Man, Valley now with the 5k goalie is going to turn that into at least 7k deficit against Burn. You can see that Hessa is scaling up relatively quick with 3 items and a Malefic Roar, which helped him actually kill White Chicken towards the later half of that fight. But you have to admit that as of right now, D7, he has to use his flicker to close that distance. He had a good angle, but he could have guaranteed a hit had he just flickered forward. He's greeding out on his battle spell.
Now the Lord is coming in. Zane and Shark trying to hold down the front side. Hoon does not have that feathered airstrike, so he's not going to be able to help this siege effort. Down goes the Lord. Not too much material for the side of the Valley.
So very disciplined, right? The Valley here, they got a nice, comfortable gold lead. They're going to be taking the resources as well from Burn X Flash. Meanwhile, you got Flied Chicken walking that wave on the bottom side, looking for another turret here, opening up the map further. Can Burn X Flash defend against this siege?
Ooh, there goes Hoon with the feathered airstrike. ATM taking a bit of damage. They are able to open up the map a bit. And here in a second, with White Chicken cutting this lane, that should be another free tier 2 tower.
Let's see whether, I mean, the outer turrets are basically gone at this point, and the Valley, they're very confident once they have this lead. They know that Burn can't really do too much about the situation, and D7 has to really be careful with his power of natures, because as soon as his immunity to crowd control disappears, the Valley will jump upon him. So I think at this stage of the game, the Valley, let the waves push on out. Come on out of the base, and let's get into a brawl.
And I mean, even looking at the items, like you mentioned, you know, with Hessa having those 3 core items, he's got the Demon Hunter Sword, he's got the Golden Staff, Malefic Roar here on this Claude. And also, CCAT had the Numen Blast. Not sure if he's still holding on to it, but if they can get that set up, whether it's in the base defense or not, if they find 2-3 targets, it's overlapped with a great Blazing Duet Wild Charge combination. Burn X Flash isn't out of this, right? Despite that 5.7k gold lead for the Valley, they can set themselves up here for success, but what we've seen so far is the Valley not allowing that to happen. Here comes the conceal.
Possible conceal play. It might be in vain, though. C-Cat able to flicker away. Keep our eyes on Hessa, though, hiding out in this bush. B7 goes down. Hessa comes in with the Blazing Duet, but a nice winner Truncheon from Hoon. Down goes ATM. Next will be Chima. Will has to get out of this. I don't think so. Force the flicker.
Wow.
And he falls. That's a maniac for Basic. His first one in M4. Now they're going to try to close the distance here. Burn X Flash on the ropes.
Oh my lord, nothing gets past White Chicken. He saw that right at the very edge of his screen, the Blazing Duet. He foresaw it coming and immediately turned 180 around to deal with the problem. And now, this could be it.
This could definitely be it. The Newman on Blast does not connect, but they're going to be able to clear these waves. The Valley with the chokehold over Burn X Flash right now. Burn X Flash coming out of the base, though, trying to defend, and it looks like they will be able to do it. The Valley keeping it disciplined. They're going to go for this Lord and try to finish this off. But wait a second. Chima coming in. I'm your ATM with the bravest fighter. Gets a nice flicker. D7 comes in as well, but still not enough damage. Mlbb gonna get the Daytona's welcome. Burst him against the wall, and I'm your ATM will fall. Now, back to the Lord.
Oh my goodness. What's so unfortunate about this play is the fact that Burn had all the right ideas, executed as best as they can, but with an 8.7, 8.8K goal lead now, and they've already hit the 42, gone past the 42K mark. They're just literally one item away to making a difference in that fight.
I mean, it shows, right? It really shows an itemization for the Valley here. And that's what we see working so well for them. So they just secure themselves a Lord here. They're going to be getting ready for this Lord push. 10K gold ahead here. Burn X Flash is going to have a defense of a lifetime. And I'm not even sure if C-Cat has an ultimate just yet with IMU, but as you said, Gideon, the backpack in full force here for Basic, but it's not even just that. I feel like everybody's got their own pack here because Super Shark, look at him, he's massive. 0-0-12 on a Lolita again for this match. And Fly Chicken, the big question mark, does Esmeralda still work here? It obviously does. And he's such a good distraction. That's something that works great for Esmeralda. And they're playing around that here. Not to mention Mlbb is also a big, huge dinosaur. And now they get ready for this siege on the base.
Most definitely the Lord creeping its way in along with Mlbb. Keep our eyes on Hoon as he does drop that feathered airstrike with the flicker to bait out the bravest warrior. Basic gonna shred down on your ATM. And this could be it. Down goes Chima and down goes Burn X Flash. C-Cat, the last one standing. The Valley gonna bring out the recalls because tonight the Valley will not burn. They will go forth as Burn X Flash is going home, sadly.
They have done it. The Valley continue their championship run from the lower brackets. They move on to deal with their next opponent. A breath of fresh air, but GG, well played. A 2-0 victory to the Valley, and our hearts go out to the representatives coming in from Cambodia, Burn X Flash.
Man, oh man, I'm sure there's some people in the chat right now type in the Valley dude because that was a performance and everybody loves to see it. It's tough to see Burn X Flash here going home, but they put up a fight. They tried their best here, and unfortunately, it just wasn't enough against the Valley.
Definitely a wonderful game from both players. Even from game 1 to game 2, Burn X Flash kept their composure. There was a lot of moments where I felt like they could have taken that back, but in game 2, the gold lead just became too much, and in the meta right now, that can spell victory.
It really does. It's so brutal, but they played so well. They had their time to come together.